Good morning, guys. We're starting our brand new unit this morning. It's characters, actions, and reactions. So that's the reading book you'll need to have when you come to class. We'll watch this video in class because if I play it now, you can't hear it. But the essential question that we are going to be looking at in this unit is right here. How do we reveal ourselves to others? How do we reveal ourselves to others? So reveal means to show. So we want to know how do we show others who we are and the kind of person we are. So we've had a couple activities already this year where we've asked you to think of words that describe a character or words that describe yourself, like when we did our hand with Ms. Corbin the other day in morning meeting. So if I feel like I'm a perseverant person, or I'm kind, or I'm considerate, how do I show others that that's the kind of person I am? Looking in this unit, we're going to be looking, it's kind of a fun unit. It's one of my favorite units. We're looking at fables, fairy tales, and fantasies, and we're going to read some of those. They are similar, but they are very different, and all of them contain memorable characters. So a character that you're going to remember. And some of these, as you see on the screen, are characters that you're already identifying. You already know who they are. You remember them. So we're going to be paying attention to their words and actions as we read about them. A well-written story gives the reader insight into the character. So that means that it gives the reader things to know about the character through the story. So we're going to learn about the parts of the story that reveal the character to us. An important part of understanding a story is understanding its characters. As a story unfolds, characters reveal what kind of people they are through their words and their actions. So they show us the kind of person they are, or kind of character they are, through what they do and what they say. In real life, we do the same thing. You meet a new friend, you learn about them based on the way they treat you, the things they say to you, and then hopefully from there you make a choice whether to continue being friends, or maybe you're like, this isn't somebody that I think I'll get along with very well. Getting to know the character helps us to make connections, and we've been doing that in Unit 1. Text to self, text to text, and text to world connections. This story reminds me of. It also helps us to understand the plot and the theme of the story. Now notice those words are in blue, and those words should not be new to you, but in case they are, we're going to briefly talk about them. The plot of the story, right here, is the way that the story kind of unfolds. It's the actions of the story. It's a lot of times it's cause and effect. So this part of the plot causes this part of the plot, and then it kind of just keeps going like a domino effect. So the plot is often how we identify the problem, and then how we have a solution or some kind of resolution, how the story comes to an end. The theme is a little tricky. Theme of a story is something that we have to work on understanding for a while. So the theme is not usually told. The person who writes a story doesn't say, hey, the theme of this story is. They want you to identify the theme of a story based on the plot of the story and those character actions. So some themes that you might be familiar with, I'm going to pull up this anchor chart real quick so you can see them. It's the big idea, the author's message of the story. It's different than a moral of a story. So in a fable, we see morals, like the turtle and the hare, or the tortoise and the hare, those kinds of things. But common things we see in stories might be overcoming challenges, believing in yourself, making good choices, treating others the way you wanted to be treated, never giving up, good triumphing over evil or teamwork, friendship, love, those kinds of things. So theme often is not something that we read. We don't see the theme. We have to understand the theme. So we'll work on that through the unit too. I'd like for you to get your notebooks out, your reading notebooks. So pause me if you need to. Go grab it, because there's a couple of things I want you to think about before you come to class. This is the first thing that I really would like for you to write a couple of notes down. You don't have to write the entire sentence right now if you don't want, because I know you don't have a lot of time before class starts. But I want you to think about, how do you let others know who you are? So I let others know who I am when I do what? What is it that you do to let others know who you are? My blank lets others know what I am thinking. What is it that we can do, say, what is it that we can fill in this blank with that will let someone else know what you're thinking? I get to know others when they, what do others do to help you get to know them? So think about 3 words that we could plug into these blanks. Jot them down in your notebook. I let others know who I am when my blank lets others know what I am thinking, and I get to know others when they. Write down a couple of those. Okay, the next thing I would like for you to think about and just jot down maybe a couple questions. You know the unit's going to be about fantasies, fairy tales, and fables. You know we're going to read about characters and their actions and reactions, how they reveal themselves to us. What kind of questions do you think you have? We're going to talk about it in class, but I want you to jot them down so you don't forget them. Okay, so write those down. And then when you get to class today, we're going to be thinking about some of these questions, okay? How does what we say affect others? What consequences do our actions have? And how do we get to know others? How do we let others know how to get to know us? How do we let others get to know us? So also be thinking about these. If you want to jot down some of your ideas, that'd be great, but we're going to have a conversation about it while we are in class today. So I'm excited about our new unit. I hope you are too. You can tell that this unit is much, much different from Unit 1. Unit 1 was a big nonfiction unit about real things happening in our world. This unit's going to be the exact opposite. This unit's going to be a lot of fiction, fantasy, the fables, the fairy tales. Jot down a couple ideas you have about those two to come to class with. How do you think fairy tales are different from fables? How are they maybe different than maybe a fantasy story? How are they the same? I'd love to hear your thoughts about that too. And I think you guys are going to have a good time with this unit, and we look forward to diving into it today in class. So make sure you've gone and written down your thoughts. Bring them to class with you so you have some things to share, and it's not just me or Miss Corbin talking. And we will see you guys in just a little bit.